climbers made history this past week in California's Yosemite National Park.
After 19 days climbing and living on the side of the Don Wall.
When Kevin Jorgeson and Tommy Caldwell.
They're the first to accomplish that lofty goal.
This was the moment that history was made when Kevin Jorgeson and Tommy Caldwell achieved something for so long thought impossible.
It kind of points to larger themes that everybody can relate to. You know, dreaming big. Everyone has their own Don Wall.
January 15th, 2015, we were 2,700 feet up, the biggest rock wall in North America. Our home for the last 19 days had been these hanging tents called portaledges, which were suspended by 3/8-inch bolts, pounded 1 inch into the granite. I brushed my teeth, swirled water in my mouth, stuck my head out the tent, and counted. 1, 2, 3. At around 15, the blob disappeared, too small to see. It seemed crazy to me how this world had become so comfortable to us. We would wake, get dressed, brew coffee in our little hanging stove, and then we would attach our ascenders to the rope and swing out over the void as we had readied our gear for the day. It was a vast, harsh wilderness of wind and falling ice and awe-inspiring beauty. As the sun would get low in the sky, the rock would sparkle as if embedded with millions of diamonds. We felt small, like a single grain of sand amongst this vast desert. When we started this climb nearly 3 weeks earlier, it was just me, Kevin, and our good friend and photographer, Brett Lowell. Nobody comes to Yosemite in the middle of winter, it's just too cold. But now, as we were climbing the last 200 feet towards the top of El Cap, we looked far down below to the meadow, to the road running through, and we saw a line of probably 50 cars, a crowd of maybe 100 people gathered around telescopes. News trucks with their satellite dishes pointed skyward. We had been working on this climb for 7 years, and really, nobody had taken notice outside of our small-knit climbing community, but on this final 19-day push, that changed. Something about this experience captured the world in this way that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. So on this 19th day, as we were climbing towards the top of El Cap, we could look east where the summit wrapped around, and we saw a crowd of probably 30 people that all had hiked for 10 miles through the middle of winter to greet us on top. And I could look over and wave at them, and they would all throw their hands up cheering, and they're like, yeah! And I looked over at Kevin, and I was like, what are we, the Beatles? And there's this crazy phenomenon on big walls, whereas when the sun hits the surface of the rock, it begins to heat it, and it creates this intense thermal updraft. It gets quite windy, and there's no bathrooms up there, so when you pee, the urine tends to hit that updraft and start to disperse itself all around you, like almost as if you're floating in outer space. And then inevitably, the wind will shift, and droplets will splatter all over yourself and your partner, and really everything within like a quarter mile of you. So on this 19th day, as we triumphantly pulled over the top of El Cap and were greeted by friends and family and reporters, we smelled like toilets. And I had been so enthusiastically yelling to Kevin throughout the last few days. It was this very intense experience that I'd completely lost my voice. And in the midst of this chaos, one of the reporters got a phone call from the White House, and they gave us this message that the president wanted to call and congratulate us. And so I pulled out my phone. I gave him my phone number, I pulled out my phone, and then I waited for 30 minutes. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to talk to the president, and I don't even have a voice right now. He never called. But he did post this on Twitter. It says, so proud of Tommy Caldwell and Kevin Jorgeson for conquering El Capitan. You make us believe that anything is possible. And it doesn't say it on here, but lower than this, he signed it Bo, and I love that because it makes me feel like me and my friend Bo, we're like this.